Making stuffed pork chops for dinner tonight. Pepperidge Farm, gotta love them. The Monday during Chika-Chikka, I talked about doing a multicam setup and doing our Christmas decorating through multicam. And when it works right and well, it's actually a pretty cool way to do it. Do a video like that where you can get a bunch of different camera angles all at once. And Premiere, when it can sync them up, can do an awesome job at it. The problem is when you have like really dissimilar cameras and maybe not the greatest audio quality and such. And that's kind of where I'm at. That I'm going to try and make a little bit of a short video later this afternoon that shows some of the camera equipment that I've been using. And it's decent quality, but it's definitely not top quality stuff. And I couldn't get the audio files to sync. And I went back and I spent probably 5 hours trying to line stuff up by the beginning points, and then realized the frame rates on everything was a little bit different. So even though I lined up the beginning, by the time it got to the end of the clip, it was out of sync. And I tried going in and remapping it in different ways, and none of it worked. It was a horrible mess, and I spent probably about 12 hours trying to make this work. And I'm going to have to go with, it was a really good idea, and I feel I made a pretty good attempt at it, but in the end, it was definitely a failed idea. So I was kind of scrambling around what we needed to do for today for a video. And getting a little bit of a cooking video. And I'm also going to take, as I said, and do an equipment video, the different cameras and setups that I use to do what I do, to do the videos that I do. Okay, this is a basic overview of the gear that I use. That I've got the Sea Life DC 1400. That we got this about 3 years ago when Sport Chalet was going out of business. They had a pretty good deal on it. That I got rid of a DC 800 right after that. I've got a Get Up Get 2 that it's actually a great little action camera, way less expensive than the GoPros. It's a 2.7K camera, not quite 4K, but it actually takes almost as good a picture as a 4K setup does. I've got a Zhiyun Smooth Q stabilizer that works with, that it's set up to work with a cell phone, and I've got an adapter plate for the GoPro, or for the Get Up camera, and the piece that fell out is an adapter to go from a 2-ring to a 3-ring for mics, so that you can use a camera mic on a cell phone. Unfortunately, the problem with going to a knockoff camera is trying to get an external mic for this. They've got a lavalier mic that I've got that is a USB mini connection. I tried to get a USB to 3/8 plug, and that didn't work, and I tried a couple different things to make it work, and that didn't work at all. This is actually the case for the Sea Life. This is our battery backup by Anker. That it's actually an outstanding little battery backup. It will recharge cell phone 4 or 5 times.
It'll recharge most of this equipment a couple times without a problem. It makes a great little backup, and it does have a quick charge for your cell phones. And this is the bag that I carry all the little pieces, parts for the cameras in. It's an Amazon Basics bag. It's an Amazon Basics bag, which helped immensely on the cost. It has a ton of pockets to keep most all of the cabling and such that you would need. Because of the experience in the Philippines, I got a backup for my for the computer that just stays in here permanently. It's got a ton of storage for the camera, a power supply for the camera, an extra Rode mic, 3 extra lenses. Right now I'm using a 10 to 18. I've got a 55 to 250. And again, these are all much higher f-stops. Oh, come on. I've got the 18 to 55 that was a stock lens that came on it. And the one that I do have that has a really big aperture that I like, that's a really good strong lens, is the typical nifty 50. Straight up 50 millimeter prime lens. Gorilla Pod, of course. And why I keep the computer charger in this bag is it does have a slot for a computer. I also keep the landing pad for the Mavic in here. Typically when I go out with the Mavic, I've got the bag anyhow. And it works as a backpack to where you can throw it on. It does fit in under airplane seats. That when we went to the Philippines, I brought a bag that we got at IKEA that was set up, that was designed around fitting in overhead compartments, and this one fit right beautifully and underneath the seats in front of us. But that's the gear I've got. Plus, I've got a Mavic Pro, Mavic 2, or a Mavic Pro, not the Mavic 2, Mavic. And that's what I wind up using to shoot with. And as you can see, it is pretty dissimilar. And that's the problem I ran into trying to do the multicam. Nothing records in a similar format. So, the Sea Life records in AVI. The Canon and the Get Up and the phone all record in MP4. I don't think you can change the frame rate on either the phone or the Get Up. And the Canon, obviously, you can change the frame rates on that, but that's what we're working with. My main camera is actually a Rebel T6i. That it's one of the lower end previous model Rebel that I got just as the T7s were coming out. And I got a fairly decent deal on it at the time. And again, it's a very good entry level SLR camera. The camera I'm shooting on right now is a Get Up Get 2. And again, a decent, inexpensive camera that does a pretty good job. Pretty much any of the underwater movies are going to be taken on this.
Some of the underwater movies are taken on a different camera I have that again is a decent entry level camera for what it does. That is called a Sea Life DC 1400. That I got it about about 3 years ago now. That when Sports Chalet here in Phoenix was going out of business, that I managed to pick it up for a really good deal. They've got a DC 2000 now that's a little bit bigger, better, going more towards the pro end, but there's enough problems with it that it's definitely not one that I plan on trying to get an upgrade to anytime in the near future. Pork chops. Wow. I need to run down my sharpened knives tomorrow. Need to find a baking pan. Bear with me.